Hey everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing the Syma X20 pocket drone. This new drone out from Syma, and it's a neat little drone. I'm really pleasantly surprised by it because Syma's had some, I guess, bad luck lately. Since they've gone to some of this redesigned stuff, it seems like there's been some more misses than hits lately with, just bugs and weird design features. And if you saw my Syma X8 SW review, you'll see how that large drone can be rather erratic when you fly it. But this kind of has that similar look. Let me show it to you here. It kind of has the Syma, the X8 series look, or the X5 UW has that look, shrunk down to this. I guess I would call this a nano. This is pretty small. It looks larger with these prop guards. And these prop guards, they aren't removable. But this is mostly an indoor flyer, so I'm perfectly fine with the prop guards, and it does do a good job of protecting them. Of course, it has the propellers that look a lot like the X8 series, and just a really nice little quadcopter. It's got these little rubber boots on the bottom. They're just stuck on for a nice soft landing. It's got really bright LEDs that are just on the bottom here, but they shine really bright, and also here in the front. Let me turn it on for you. The on and off switch is located here on the top, just like they've done on the other ones. This is one of the nice redesign features I do like with these new looks of the Symas, is on and off switch on top. It's just going to flash here because it's not bound up with the controller, but pretty standard in the red in front, green in the back that Syma always uses. It also shines through this front, just clear piece that allows the light to shine through the front here for orientation. If you buy some of those higher end models of this, that I believe has a camera located in here. I believe there's, let me look at the box, it shows on the box here. I think it's a C, and there's also a W for Wi-Fi. Let me take a look here, the different versions. I thought it said it on the box, but I could be mistaken. I got several drones in the mail the other day, and I think I'm thinking of one of the other ones. But I'm pretty sure there are several other versions of this drone, and this is just a basic one. And it's in white, and it's also available in black for this one. I'm not 100% certain, but I thought that there was another versions of this with a camera, but I may be mistaken on that. It does have a built-in battery, so you can't remove the battery. Grab it here. It is a 180 milliamp 1S 3.7 volt LiPo inside of here. So that's one of the few negatives. You cannot remove the battery easily and replace it. I'm sure you could take these screws and crack it open and probably do it yourself. But for as cheap as this drone is, I don't know how many people are going to fiddle with that. I want to think it's around $17, somewhere in that range, and it flies really nice. You get about 5.5 minutes flight time out of it. 5 minutes of that, and then it's just your regular flight, 30 seconds at the LVC. So 5.5 minutes total, 30 seconds of that is a low voltage cutoff alarm. The yaw is proportional. It does increase with the rates. There are two or three rates now. I can't. I think there's 3 rates. I've flown it several times now, but I didn't write down notes on it. Because I believe there are 3 rates of this, and it does increase with the race. The yaw is nice, and like I said, I really like this drone a lot. It also uses a micro USB here in the back to charge, which I think is also great. You don't have to worry about some little proprietary yellow cable like the Cheersons use, and I think the older Symas use the yellow cable that just like the Cheersons, and it was kind of hard to plug in. It fell out easy, and it was just, it was easier to probably break, and it's, there's so many weird ones now that have little tabs and stuff. I don't know why more don't just use a micro USB, because it's just such a standard cable. You don't need to look around for something special. Here is the cable you send with it, and of course, if you lose this cable, oh, no biggie. I'm sure everybody's got a ton of these lying around. If not, you can pick one up at your store, local Walmart or Walgreens, or just about any place, Dollar General, any place that's going to have one of these cables. But no one's going to have the proprietary cables that they're so often using these. So I really like that they did that. It takes about an hour to charge, so a little bit slow. But like I said, you get 5.5 minutes flight time, which is not too bad, so I don't have any real gripes about that. It also comes with a packet here of extra props, and it comes with a Phillips screwdriver if you need to open up for any repairs. Let's go over the controller. The controller is also new, and it is really small, and I was a bit skeptical because it is kind of odd to see these little bitty thumb-like pads, I guess you'd call it. And just these 2 buttons on the front and the 2 buttons here on the top. These don't do anything. I don't know if these are the antennas maybe. They don't tell you. And a little on and off switch here takes 4 AAA batteries. Only negative I could see with this is if you're a pincher, it's going to be pretty difficult. Not impossible, but I think you'd be better off just trying with your thumbs. Most people, I think, are thumb flyers. If you're a thumb flyer, this works really well. I was pleasantly surprised. The top left button here is for your rates. Like I said, I believe there are 3 rates. I'm drawing a blank on that. I think it's 3. It could be 2. Pretty sure it's 3. The top right is for doing your flips. When you do your 360 flips, you do have to hold it down and then the direction you want to go. You don't tap it, then do it. So a little different, but some of them do that, and it works just fine. To do an auto takeoff and landing, because this does, as you can see, have altitude hold. This little stick is self-centering. So it has auto takeoff and auto landing. You hold down both buttons, let up for auto takeoff, press them both down for auto landing. To trim it, I was actually able to do it. I'm not a big fan that they take away the trim buttons on a lot of the new Symas. But this one, you press the left stick, the left button here, one I'm pushing on, and then you press the direction you want to go on the stick. So trim the pitch up and down, or roll right and left, or your yaw, which is a little bit trickier when you're holding this button. You can do it with your left finger. But I've never seen a drone you needed to trim the yaw. But if you needed to, you can. It doesn't mention you can trim the throttle. I don't think you need to do that, but it doesn't mention that you can. But I suppose you possibly could. This button here, it doesn't have any mention of what this button does. So I think this button is inoperable. It does not mention that it has headless mode, which is a bit unusual for a small drone like this. You typically would see headless mode because this is a beginner's drone. I'm not a big fan of headless mode. If you watch my channel, you know that. So it doesn't bother me, but it might bother somebody who really depends on that. But headless mode does not teach you orientation or how to fly. So for me, it's best to learn it the right way and not rely on headless mode. So I think that covers everything with the controller and the drone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video here real quick, and I will start right back up here and take it for a test flight here in the garage because it's really windy out today, and this little guy is not going to be able to handle the wind. So I'll be right back. Okay, I got it bound up now, and a few of the things I just remembered that I wanted to go over really quickly before we take off is first to calibrate the gyros. You're going to, hope this is showing up okay here on my head. Trying to tilt the camera down a little more. You do your sticks down and to the right, and hopefully that's showing up there. You see it flash and stop. That calibrates level. So I always recommend you do that in your first flight when you first open up any new drone, and of course if you crash it. Also, there's several ways to take off, which I don't know why Syma is including all these different methods. I get the auto takeoff and auto landing. I like that. You can also unlock the props by doing your sticks inboard. As you can see, they're started up there, and then that do it again stops it. But just giving the throttle starts the propellers. So I don't know why they give you both those options, and if you hold it down, it should stop. Now the hold down, that was the design flaw in the big Symas that came out. Because if someone was up high and you held that down, it would cut the throttle and the drone would tumble to the ground and crash. They've included on this, now this being so small, it's not a big deal. If it crashes down, you're not going to hurt anything or hurt anybody. And you're not likely to hurt the drone, but I don't know why they include that. So why the inboard sticks in, or throttle up and down, why include both those options? Why not just make it the throttle? Or for me, the sticks in is better because then you don't accidentally bump the throttle. And I really don't like the throttle down as a motor kill option. So once you land with the auto land, you can just hold the throttle down, and then that, it will cut the motor. So I think when you auto land, it turns the propellers off anyway. So just kind of aggravating. I don't know why they include these multiple options. Just stick with, one for starting and stopping the motors manually and the auto takeoff. So they should just stick with the inboard sticks to start and stop the props. There's no reason to use the throttle. Like I said, and then if somebody doesn't know they hold the throttle down, it'll cut it in midair and it'll come crashing to the ground. So, kind of a minor gripe there. Syma needs to stop doing that. So, I got it all bound up. Like I said, I just calibrate it. So let's go ahead and take it off. I'm gonna go ahead and do an auto takeoff and we'll go here and I'll stand up and move it out here a little ways. As you can see, look out here. I don't know if you can see it, but plants blowing. It's really, really windy for flying a Nano. So I'm going to do an auto takeoff. It flies really nice. It's not real loud. It holds altitude really nicely. It may hop for a moment like some of them do as it's trying to gauge this. The barometer's trying to gauge altitude. A really nice flyer. That's the lowest. Let's go up a rate here. I said just confirm the number of rates. There's middle rate. No, there's just two. So I couldn't remember because I got it confused, I think, with the Cheerson Cricket I just reviewed. There's just two. So let's take it down to the first rate. And you can see there, and I'll click it again. And the rate does increase. I like it on the highest rate. A little sportier, more pitch. The LEDs are really nice, you can see, even though they're located they are located here on the body, and they're really easy to see. It's so stable. Also, when you're charging it with the micro USB, I didn't mention, those two back lights actually turn red, and they go off when it's fully charged, since the USB cable doesn't have lights on it. That's really nice because it's easy to see those red lights and know when it's finished, and I have to look for a little light shining up on the USB connector right at the base. I like that a lot. So really, I think besides the throttle kill feature on this, and the multiple ways of starting and stopping the props, otherwise I like everything about this little guy, including the price. Can't beat the price. Let's see if we can kind of do a little funnel or something here if I got enough room. Yeah, see it? Does them nice in the highest rate, nice and tight. It's not moving around on me too much. Let's do an auto landing just to show you that, and then we'll try a manual takeoff. So, well, let's do a few flips while we got good battery power actually. So you have to hold the stick in, and it does gain some altitude, so I probably should have been a little bit more in the middle, not so close to the ceiling. Let's do one back at me. And it does flips really nice. Most of them will raise up a little bit, so that's normal to make sure it's got enough height to do it. Let's do one forward. Let's try that again. Let's do one forward. There we go. Really nice flipper. Really nice 360 flips. I really like that. If you like to do those, just really nice and tight. Not sloppy. Very tight. Alright, let's go ahead and do the auto landing here. There we go. Alright. I'll put it back. I accidentally bumped it's easy enough to bump the rates button before I did both buttons for the auto landing. So I put it back up to the second. Alright, let's go ahead and do an auto takeoff. Like I said, you can just do the throttle. See, now it's giving it, and just take off. So there's really no reason to even mess with the sticks inboard when you can just do it with the throttle stick. But let's bring it down close. If I just hold that down, let's see if it just drops out of the air. Yeah, it obviously holding it down with a Nano, it hit the ground before it killed the props, and then it did. So if you had this thing up higher than I could get it in here, if you had it up 10 or 15 feet up in the air and you held it down for 3, probably you need to be higher than that. It's gonna, I think, kill the props and fall out of the air. Like I said, with being a Nano size, it's not gonna really hurt anything. We can also do the sticks inboard and then let up, and then they start, and then just give it throttle to take off. Just a nice looking quadcopter, extremely stable. Very smooth, tight flips, tight funnels. A respectable flight time. I've had ones fly much shorter than that at this size. So I think, you know, 5.5 minutes or so is not bad. 7 minutes or so would probably be ideal. But 180 milliamp battery built in there is not too bad. I've seen smaller in that size too. So it'd be nice if the battery was removable so you could swap a few in and out and get a couple flights, or replace it if the LiPo goes bad. But basically, you're looking at the LiPo battery, not being replaceable, and the throttle, kill feature, and all the ways to start and stop it would be my biggest gripes. That's about all I've got with this thing. So overall, I think it's a home run by Syma. I'm very, very happy with it. And even though I wasn't sure on the number of rates, because most of them have 3, I think the 2 rates is just fine. I don't see a need for a 3rd rate. We'll put it down to the 1st rate. You see the 1st rate, it just doesn't have much pitch. I'll try to do a funnel. See, it's real big. It just doesn't have the pitch and the yaw to do a funnel very good. If you go up to the middle rate, much sportier. So unless you're a beginner, you definitely want to use the highest rate. Well, there's the low voltage LVC. Hopefully I can get it down here, try to get up on the knee. I can take it up. It gives you about 30 seconds, so you can see it's blinking, and it will auto land as it runs out and turn off the prop. So I'm going to go ahead and tilt the land and turn off the motors once it detected it's down. So overall, I really, really like this little guy. Definitely one of the better Nano. Like I said, it's kind of, to me, in between. It's almost a micro. It looks kind of big with those prop guards on. Overall, really nice little quadcopter and very affordable. Like I said, I believe it's under $20, something like $17. So, hope you enjoyed the review. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and stay tuned. Got plenty more stuff coming up to review. So, have a good day.
The power of the dark side.